The Prisoner of Azkaban. Okay, this one I could tell right away had a different feel. The tone was way darker than the last two movies. I mean, it definitely is what my wife said, that the movies were going to get progressively darker as he grows up, because obviously in the first movie and the second one, he's still a little kid, right? I mean, obviously he's a teenager now, but he's getting grown, he's growing up, whatever. And, you know, movies are getting darker, I guess, which definitely you could see that, like, the whole movie just had like a different, darker, like, tint to it. Also a different feel now that he is older. It starts off hilarious, by the way. He almost kills the aunt the aunt by blowing her up, and she just flows into the sky. She flies to the sky, and it was like, yeah, I don't give a shit, I'm leaving. Which rightfully so, because the aunt came in and was automatically being a little bitch. So yeah, did she get what she deserved? Yeah, but it was funny though. Like, yeah, she got what she deserved, right? And I mean, she was talking smack about Harry's parents, so yeah, obviously anyone else would get annoyed too, or pissed off too. Like, you don't have the right to diss anyone's dead parents. Like, yeah, she got what she deserved. That was funny. The whole thing with this movie is that the Prisoner of Azkaban, that's the name, I know, whatever, that's the title of the movie, escapes from Azkaban. So like the big bad jail of like the whole series, I guess, the franchise. He escapes from there, and the whole thing is that he allegedly killed Harry's parents, or that he gave the information to Voldemort to kill Harry's parents. So he's coming to find Harry Potter and kill him, you know, finish his job. But oh, here's a twist: he was also his parents' best friend. You know, he's Harry's godfather. So yeah, that pisses off Harry even more when he finds out about that. And then he gets on a bus, takes him away because this is also the day that he's supposed to be going to Hogwarts, his birthday. Everything happens on his birthday, I guess. He gets to like a hotel, I guess. I forgot what they called it, right? But oh, the Leaky Cauldron. I'm looking at it right here, my notes. And so they get on the Leaking Cauldron. He meets Ron and Hermione. Again, they board the train. Also, coincidentally, they always meet, I guess, every movie, or at least the past two movies, they've been meeting. Like in the last one, he got in the chimney and he said diagonally. He still ended up somewhere near, like, Diagon Alley, where Hermione and everyone else was at. And then Harry just shows up at this hotel, and then everyone's already coincidentally there. So they're arguing about some, like, his cat, Hermione's cat attacking Ron's mouse or mice, I don't know, whatever. And so that'll be a big part later in the movie. Like, that's his rat, and the rat plays a big part in the movie. They get on the train, they meet the new professor. We also get to see the Dementor, which I have heard of before, only in name, because it's like a big thing in Harry Potter or whatever. They're like the evil spirits that suck out your soul, Dementor. And so I had heard of that name before, and so now I know. Now I can put a face or whatever it is to the name. And so that was pretty cool. I finally got to see one. Attacks Harry. Harry passes out, and then the teacher saves him. I forgot what spell the teacher used. And so they get to Hogwarts. He trains the hippogriff, whatever. They go class. The thing attacks the stupid Malfoy student, and then he's like, I want that thing's head now. And so they tried to kill the hippogriff, which is so sad. And so everyone goes on this field trip to this other town or whatever, this neighboring town, except for Harry. So they gave him a map. The Weasley brothers give him like a map so that he can see literally everyone in the whole school, which is just broken, because that means he can do basically, I mean, that topped with the cape of invisibility, or what, the robe of invisibility, whatever, the blanket he has that makes him invisible is broken. Because he can literally just walk around the whole school invisible, and now he has a map to see where everyone is, or at least where the professors are, which is insane. I mean, that's broken. And so that's crazy. And so he's able to do that. He sees a name of like some guy called Peter Pettigrew, who he heard about before by Professor McDonald, who was saying, oh yeah, Sirius Black killed Peter Pettigrew or whatever, and all that was left was his pinky or like his toenail or whatever. So that's how they knew that he was literally obliterated. But Harry was seeing him on the map, and he was like, wait a minute, what the heck? And so I saw that too. I did catch that. I was like, what the heck? Is he a ghost then? But then he shows up and passes by him, and there's nothing there, and he's like, that's suspicious. So Quidditch. Is Quidditch just a thing in this whole series? Like, is in every movie, is there like a Quidditch match? It's not that I don't like them. I mean, I think they're cool or whatever, right? Right in the broomstick, that's fine. But it's interesting because, is it necessary? I mean, he gets attacked by the Dementors and then he gets saved or whatever. I don't know if that plays a part other than like making his fear of the Dementors like bigger. Okay, this is editing future Deadlydax, whatever. I noticed this when I was recording, but they'll have a Quidditch match while there's like a thunderstorm and there's Dementors around and stuff like that. Why didn't they just cancel it? You know, in the last movie, they canceled it because the students were getting petrified or something, you know? So it's not like they have to have the Quidditch match. I just thought that was interesting. It's like, oh yeah, we'll cancel it because students are getting petrified, right? But we won't cancel it because there's Dementors that can kill anyone they want to, basically. And also there's a murderer on the loose. Like, okay, seems valid. Whatever, right? I mean, it's fine. I'm not complaining. It's like, whatever. They're pretty cool, I guess. I'm not a big fan, but I don't mind it either. There's a scene where they're doing like this testing, like face your fears thing on like this enemy or whatever that can shapeshift into like your biggest fear. And so Neville is like, oh, I don't like Professor Snape and I don't like my grandma. And the teacher's like, oh yeah, well, imagine Professor Snape in your grandma's dress. I did not need to see that. Okay, that was weird. And so he does that, and then it's Harry's turn, and he's like, oh, well, it's a Dementor. Oh, and then the professor saves him, and then it turns into like a moon. So the professor feared the moon, and I was like, wait a minute, so there's wizards. Is he a werewolf? So I did catch on to that before, and then you can ask my wife. I know she was like, watch the movie, stop asking questions. Another question that pissed her off was like, does Harry end up with Hermione? And she was like, watch the movie. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm asking, you know. And then there was also a scene where Hermione and Ron grabbed hands, like she was scared and she grabbed his hand by accident. But still, I don't know. And they were talking about it. They were like in the other town by themselves, and they were talking like, do you want to go see the castle? And I was like, wait a minute, are these two gonna end up together? And she was like, do you want to know? And I was like, yes, I want to know. Actually, I do want to know. I'm invested in this relationship. Like, who does he end up with? And she was like, yes, okay, they end up together. So now I know they end up together, which is fine. I mean, it doesn't bother me. But I was expecting Harry and Hermione to end up together. So the professor teaches Harry Expecto Patronum. I have it written right here. He teaches Harry Expecto Patronum, which is like insane when he says it at the end of the movie. And so that'll be a big thing later on. That's like to help him face his fear by using like his happy memory to defeat what was it called? The Dementors. They go over to Hagrid's shack because the hippogriff is about to get like executed horrifically. They had a giant axe. They were gonna murder it. And so the three kids are there. They head out to the back, and then they go into the forest because they were like, oh, what's going on? And then they get attacked by like a dog. This whole time Sirius Black was getting closer to the school, and then they end up beneath the Whomping Willow because Ron gets dragged under by the dog. And then they're in like this shack, the Whomping Shack, or I forgot what Hermione said it was. And so they're in the shack, and this is where everything like oh, it was not him, it was him, but also he's also here, and then now he's here, and I'm like, whoa, guys, chill. All right, Harry wants to kill Black because he thinks that he killed his parents, or that he gave Voldemort the information to kill his parents. Sirius Black is now there. He gets knocked to the ground, and then Professor Lupin shows up, and he's like, we're best friends, Harry. And so now they're together, and they're like, we want to kill him. And then Ron's like, me? And he's like, no, not you, you ninny. We want to kill the rat because that's Peter Pettigrew. And he's like, what? And I was like, what? And Ron was like, what? And then okay, that just blew my mind. Snape shows up because he was following Lupin, and he's like, I'm on to you guys, I knew it, I'm gonna kill you both or whatever. And then they were like, oh, hold on, Snape. And then Harry pulls out the Glock and then blast him back. And then Hermione's like, you just attacked the professor. And Harry's like, I don't give a shit, bro. No, they killed my parents. I'm entitled to at least attacking one professor, which, okay, whatever, right, Harry? Right. Then Peter Pettigrew is revealed to be the rat that was in Ron's family for like 12 years, which is insane, which I guess that he didn't really think about because he was like, this has been in my family for 12 years. And Sirius Black is like, yeah, extremely, like, rats don't live that long, you dumbass. Like, and he's like, huh. That was funny. And then so he turns into like back into his actual form, Peter Pettigrew, whatever. And so that must be also the implications of that. This grown-ass man, that's disgusting, bro. We need to start throwing some shade at this grown-ass man sleeping with Ron. Or it's just weird because he has him like that, you know, he's petting him or whatever. That's disgusting. They take him outside. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, we're gonna give you the Dumbledore and then the Dementors or whatever. And then Sirius Black is now calmed down now because in his first initial scene when he was there in the shack, he was like, I've waited 12 years. And then now he's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm cool now. I just need to chill. I needed to get all that out, by the way. All that pent up 12 years of energy and rage and anger or whatever. I just got it all released in the shack. Now that we're outside, I'm cool now. So they get out of the shack and he's like, you know, Harry, now that this is all gonna make me a free man, I'm your godfather. I understand if you want to go back to the Dursleys, but you can also stay with me. And Harry's like, fuck no, I don't want to go back to the Dursleys. I'm going with you, dude. And which understandably so. Also, he just told them at the beginning of the movie, he's like, anywhere is better than here, which is true. 100% true. Why don't they just open up like a dorm, like a room just for him to stay at Hogwarts? And so they do that. Hermione, for some reason, is like, Harry, look at the full moon. The full moon that's like Professor Lupin's a werewolf. Look at the full moon. Also, Professor Lupin should have like sunglasses or something, or if he knew there was probably gonna be, you'd think as a werewolf you would have a calendar of when the full moon is going to show up, because before he starts transforming, Sirius Black is like, did you take your potion? And I'm guessing it's like anti-werewolf potion or something to help him like not transform, or at least to be calm in his werewolf state. In this wizard world, you're telling me there's nothing to like negate that or like to protect him from that if he doesn't want to transform? What the fuck? Like, what? That was the only like unbelievable thing in the whole movie for me. So Peter Pettigrew takes advantage of the situation that Lupin's transforming into the werewolf, whatever, which, by the way, the crack addict across my house has more muscle and hair than that raggedy ass werewolf. Okay, disgusting. It's just funny, bro. It's just funny. And so Peter Pettigrew escapes, turns back into a rat, by the way. He could have turned into anything else, but he's like, I'm gonna be a rat again. And so he turns into a rat, runs away, and Harry's like, he's getting away. And then he gets away. And so now they have the werewolf to deal with, because now it's Sirius Black turning into like a wolf fighting against Professor Lupin, who's now a werewolf. And so now they're fighting. And so he gets called off into the forest, and then Sirius Black is also there. And now they're getting sucked to death by Dementors. And so this like bright thing, like spectral energy, whatever, like shows up at the other end of the river that they're at and just kills all the Dementors and stuff like that. And the movie doesn't end there, by the way. I thought the movie was going to end there and they were going to explain it later, right? Whatever. Because Harry was like, it was my dad. But no, because now since Black was passed out, he couldn't run away, which means that they caught him, which means like, which by the way, who caught him, by the way? Like, there's no police force. There's no, like, the Dementors. Like, the Dementors insta-kill you, by the way. I mean, at least from what I've seen, they suck at your soul. They don't even care, bro. Like, they just go on to, like, killing, and they don't care about, like, process and paperwork or whatever. They'll just kill you. So, like, what force locked up Sirius Black? You know, what locked him away? Was it Dumbledore? Because then, which doesn't make sense, by the way, because Dumbledore is then like, oh, there's nothing I can do. They have him locked up in the prison up on the tower and stuff like that. There's nothing I can do except rewind time, by the way, which I guess was hinted at the movie, because they're in class and all of a sudden Hermione shows up. Is like, what about if it's this? And Ron's like, when did she get here? And I'm like, yeah, what the fuck? When did she get there? Because they showed Harry and Ron and no one to their right, and then all of a sudden it flips to the professor and then switches back to Ron and Harry, and Hermione's not there, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm with Ron. When did she get there? So she has been time traveling, by the way. She can time travel. What? I mean, I guess, yeah, whatever, fine. I mean, she's only using it to get to like her classes in time, because now she's taking like double the classes, so she's doing that. I guess that's weird. I don't know. And apparently one of the professors, McDonald, whatever, I forgot, man. I still haven't gotten used to the names. I'm sorry. And gave it to her or something. And it's like, you guys just have these lying around, giving them to students willy-nilly, and now she's using it to take classes. I mean, at least she's using it for something good. So there's that. So Ron's got a damaged leg or whatever, so he can't time travel. So Hermione and Harry go back in time, and they're like, we gotta go stop this and save Sirius Black from prison and whatnot. So they save the hippogriff, thank God, because I thought it actually did die. Did it just kill that hippogriff, bro? No way. And so they actually go back in time, they save it. Turns out the executioner just got mad or whatever. He just killed the pumpkin. And then it leads up to the moment where they're getting sucked off by the Dementors. And then Harry's like, my dad's gonna show up any second now. And Hermione's like, your dad's not coming, champ. And so Harry's like, damn. And so he goes, expecto patronum. And so he saw himself doing that, but he thought he was his dad. So, but it was actually Harry. So that was pretty sad. And in the movie, they save Sirius Black and they free him. They give him the hippogriff and he flies off. But before that, he's like, Harry's like, I want to go with you. And he's like, nah, Harry, I'm still a wanted man until we can find Peter Pettigrew. Yeah, this questionable PDF. I mean, I don't know if he did anything, right? But it's still weird that he was sleeping with Ron or whatever. He was Ron's pet. It was weird. I mean, he was like, Ron, I've been a good rat. I've been a good rat. Remember you used to pet me? Bro, that's weird, bro. That's weird. All right, no. He needs to go away. Sirius Black, that is, because he's still a wanted man until they can, you know, clear the situation up and find Peter Pettigrew. And so, but now Harry knows that it actually wasn't Sirius Black who betrayed his parents. It was actually Peter Pettigrew, and that he framed Sirius Black for that. And so, I mean, that's great. At least Harry now has a family member or whatever, a godfather that isn't a piece of shit. So, because the Dursleys are pieces of shit, I still don't like them. And so, great movie, fantastic. It was very dark, like compared to the other ones, and I loved it. I love that this movie was way darker than it had like a darker tone than the first two. This is my new favorite movie. Is the fourth one gonna be my favorite too? I have no idea. And so and the movies just, oh my bad, and the movies just keep getting better and better. I'm liking it a lot. I had a lot to say about this movie. It's really great. I like this movie. I'm excited for the fourth one, continuing the series and stuff like that. Keep watching them grow. There was no Hufflepuff. When will my house receive respect? Okay, I want to see a Hufflepuff member. All right, I want to see Robert Pattinson's character do something. I just know he's Hufflepuff. Again, no spoilers, please. I just know that he's Hufflepuff, and I want to see his character. When does he show up? I just want to know when he shows up, because I want to see a Hufflepuff do something. At least show up and like have a name, because all we got was Hufflepuff Student 1, Hufflepuff Student 2. And I think there was one in the second one when Harry was on the desk and the snake was gonna attack him or whatever, and the Hufflepuff student was like, "Hey mate, watch what you're doing, mate. You about to kill me." And I was like, okay. No, well, I mean, at least we got a Hufflepuff person. Huffle person. I don't know. I want to see someone from my house do something. All right, I'm just saying, bro. A Ravenclaw, I don't give a shit. I'm not in that house. At least Draco Malfoy, whatever, is in Slytherin, and you know, obviously we follow Gryffindor through Harry's point of view. But I want to see a Hufflepuff person. When will my house do something cool, bro? Hufflepuffs be sleeping, bro. That's why that's why my wife laughed at me, bro. She said that we're the weakest. No, bro. No. We gotta. I need help, man. Anyways, great movie. I'm excited to see the fourth one. I forgot what it was called, but I already saw the trailer and I can't wait. And that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys later.